The beggar. Beggary is not really always the result of destitution. It is more of an institutionalized way of earning money in India. Though, of course, some beggars may be forced to beg because of no means of earning. But largely speaking, begging in India is a kind of scam, you could say. Beggars consciously dress up in dirty and torn clothes in order to play upon the sympathy of the passers by, especially at religious places like temples, mosques, churches, gurudwaras, also at bus stops, railway stations, traffic signals, etc. Reema thought of Sharon Ma'am's lecture yesterday as she waited for Parul at the bus stop on her scooter. This was their daily routine since a year. Parul would hop over and together they would go to college. They attended the same college, studied the same subjects, and even attended the same coaching class for the UPSC exams. Reema always dreamt of meeting a young, handsome, dashing, Casanova type of a man at the bus stop. But all she saw early in the morning were a few students, one or two hawkers, a couple of middle aged commuters, and, of course, a large group of beggars dressed in worn out clothes with their dirty bodies smelling of perspiration and sweat, ready to stop every commuter at the bus stop, haggling for a coin or two. There was one particular old female beggar, ever present, dirty, toothless, dressed in tatters, and who would stand right next to the bus stop in the hope of getting a few coins. This beggar would always greet Reema with a smile. Though Reema never responded, the beggar still smiled at her. She just needs money, thought Reema. The bunch of beggars would generally be talking loudly at this hour, and usually there would be loud, raucous arguments, and sometimes even fist fights. Parul was late today, and her phone too was switched off. The first lecture in the college was by Sharon Ma'am, and boy was she strict. A minute late in entering her class, and you had to sit over stale sandwiches and cold chai in the canteen for that hour. Reema now began to get very concerned. She looked at her watch every 5 seconds. Suddenly, the old beggar appeared from behind and with a smile told Reema, "आ जाएगी तुम्हारी दोस्त." Reema was in no mood to entertain the beggar. She stared at her with a lot of annoyance. The old hag is just doing her dhanda, thought Reema. अगर friend आ जाएगी तो मुझे पैसे देना, the old beggar interjected. Reema couldn't decide if she was more irritated by the beggar or more worried by Parul's absence. On the horizon appeared two buses, numbers 44 and 102. Almost everyone on the bus stop boarded either of the two. Reema now realized that she was alone at the bus stop, except, of course, for that old beggar. The old hag turned around to give her another smile and then stretched her hand towards Reema. For a moment, Reema was petrified. She thought that the beggar was going to hit her or physically touch her and pester for some coins. But in her hand, the beggar held a toffee. Reema coiled at the thought of taking the toffee from her dirty hand. Gee, how can I take anything from this dirty thing? Just then, a strong gust of wind blew in their direction, and the old beggar tried to wrap herself in her tattered shawl. She wore a petticoat and a shirt, both too loose for her, and her shawl had more holes than fabric. The beggar's hair was matted and body covered with dust and dirt. Behind her, Reema could see a tattered blanket and a dirty small bundle. The beggar again smiled at Reema and offered her the toffee. Somehow, This gesture touched Rima's heart. Even in her extreme poverty, at least the beggar was trying to offer Rima something to eat. Rima smiled back and nodded her head in refusal. Rima realized that perhaps beggary was not as it was being taught to them. There were good beggars too, like this one, poor old woman. She might have been thrown out of her house by the children. Or she may not have any children at all, and the relatives may have thrown her out. Who knows? She may even have been rich at one time. And now look at her, reduced to begging on the university road for a few coins. Rima thought with some anger that if Sharon ma'am had seen this poor beggar dressed in the bare minimum clothes on an early December morning, but with a heart of gold, offering toffees to strangers, then the professor would have certainly changed her theory. Professors aren't always right, are they? Thought Rima. Just then, Parul came running over and hopped over onto the scooter. Rima was so happy and so relieved to see her friend. Sorry, I got a plate. And then no battery in the phone, yaar. Chal, fatafat. 1 minute, Parul. 1 minute. Do you have some money? Yes. But why? I want to give some money to this beggar. To this beggar? But why? Don't you remember what Sharon ma'am said in the lecture yesterday? Rima glared at Parul. Keep quiet, just give me the money, she said firmly. Parul reluctantly gave her 100 rupees note, as that was all she had. And without a second thought, Rima gave the 100 rupees note to the beggar, who of course gladly accepted it. Parul was aghast. Tu pagal hai? Why did you give 100 rupees to that beggar? Arey, don't you remember what Sharon ma'am told us about beggars in class? Parul, keep quiet. Professors aren't always correct. ठीक है? Right at that moment, a silver-colored car pulled up at the bus stop. The driver leaned towards the passenger door and opened it. For a moment, the two girls thought that someone had seen them alone and would now try to harass them. But before Rima and Parul could react, the old toothless beggar jumped inside the car and occupied the passenger seat. She leaned out of the window and looked at Rima. ये मेरा बेटा है. रोज सुबह ये मुझे यहीं से घर ले जाता है. शाम को फिर रख जाता है. तुमको कहीं छोड़ दो. All Rima could remember was Parul's loud laughter and her statement. My dear, professors are almost always correct.